Okay, it's time for part 4, if you're ready. And so we're using the book by Richard Jesse Watson, The Lord's Prayer. And let's go through it again. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth. Thy will be done on earth. So today we're going to talk about what it means for God's will to be done on earth. And the first thing we need to know is, what is God's will? I wonder. Do you sometimes know what your parents want you to do even without them saying anything? Like, after you finish your bath, do they want the towel on the floor? No, you kind of know what they want you to do without them telling you. Yeah. Do you have sisters and brothers? And how do they want you to treat your sister and brother? And do they have to tell you? Or do you already know? Yeah, you pretty much already know, don't you? All right, and let's say it's dinner time and they've cooked a meal for you and you look at it and you're like, yuck, I really didn't want that. And so you choose not to eat it and you kind of move the food around and you definitely don't want the veggies. Is that something you know that might cause a little trouble with your parents? Because you know they want you to eat healthy food and food that they've taken the time to prepare for you. That's right. It's the same way with God. God has certain hopes and expectations for us, and he wants us to do them willingly and even gladly or cheerfully. So let's look at what that might look like. So what might we do for God? How about going to church? Do you think God wants us to go to church? Why do we go to church? Is it to see other people? Is it because the pastor needs us to go? Is it because our parents make us? No, we go to church because that's a place where we can worship God in a special way with all our other church family. And that's something I think God likes very much. Now, we can also worship God when we're outside by ourselves, looking at his beautiful creation. We can worship God when we're listening to Christian music or singing a happy song. We can worship God when we're praying before we eat our meals or at night before bed. There are lots of ways to worship God. And one of them maybe is to go to church. And another thing that God, I think, wants us to do, his will, is to love others. In fact, Jesus told us that. Our 2 rules, according to Jesus, are to love God with all our heart, soul, and mind, and to love each other. So what does that look like, to love each other? How can we know what God's will is? Because it's always good stuff that we want to happen to us. We want people to be kind to us. We want people to help us and show us love. And so that's our job. God expects us and hopes that we will do the same so that other people will say, wow, that person is so nice and loving and kind, and they love God. So God must be really awesome. That's what we want. So, thy will be done on earth. That's the one for today. See you tomorrow or whenever else you come.